Hey guys, T-Bull here. Today I got a look at the Tier 7 American Premium Battleship, the Alabama. A lot of people have been asking me where's my look at the Alabama. They didn't give the community contributors a preview of the ship, so we have to grind it out like everyone else. Unfortunately, I didn't save up enough XP. I was thinking it was going to be about 300,000. Ended up being a lot more than that. So I don't actually have mine yet. This is from Spartan Elite43. Most, if not all of you guys should know who he is. Very popular World of Warships streamer and YouTube video maker, fellow community contributor, and we're swapping videos again. So I'm going to review his game on the Alabama here. I gave him a Megami game to review, and that should be up on his channel any day now, or either today or tomorrow would be my guess, but soon. And I'll have a link to his channel in the description below. If you haven't checked him out, for sure go over there and check him out. I mean, great content creator and great guy, so definitely worth looking at. So right off the bat here, he's going wide on estuary, which I like. He does sight a Jervis and takes a shot at him. Hits him for, what do we got, about 4k there, which is outstanding. That's about a third of the Jervis's HP, so he's doing what battleships need to do: defend themselves, shoot at those destroyers. You can't rely on your teammates because they're not gonna fulfill your wishes very often. I do like playing wide over here in estuary. You do have to be careful when you're making that initial turn like he did there. If you spawn forward a little bit, you can get that island that is in the right hand side of the screen right now. If you're forced to sail in front of that, you don't want to make that move, because that'll prevent you from disengaging when the enemy inevitably spots you and starts shooting at you. But because he spawned back where he did, he can make that turn right off the bat and come over here. Now this is a powerful area for cruisers as well. You can see these islands that dot the sides. But by coming over here, he's creating crossfires. A lot of times on estuary, people are going to kind of sit where they spawn and just try and shoot at each other that way, but if people aren't moving around, the angles aren't there from where you spawn. So moving over here is a strong play as long as you don't get deleted doing so, but he's doing a good job making his way out here. Now he's got another shot potentially at that Jervis, and I like that. It's very good to see. Long range, a lot of battleship commanders don't take that shot either. They're not confident enough in their aiming abilities, or they don't think it's their responsibility. If you're in the category where you don't think you can hit that shot, you need to practice it, and the only way you're going to get better at it is by taking those shots. And everyone needs to be shooting at the destroyers. It's everyone's responsibility. The ramifications of one team going down into a deficit when it comes to destroyers is huge. You lose your vision against the enemy team, you lose that potential torp threat. The ability to capture objectives is greatly diminished when you lose your destroyers, so on and so forth. I can go on and on about the importance of destroyers, and they're very frustrating for a lot of players to play against. And then I ask them, are you shooting at them? Do your part to get rid of them, and they won't be as big of an issue. So good job for him to be helping himself and his team out by taking those shots. Now this York over here is hiding behind that island, and he keeps kind of sighting them, looking like he wants to take shots. Initially, when I first watched this replay, I thought maybe pushing forward here a little more aggressively would have been the right play. He plays pretty conservative right here, and it ends up paying off. Those ships that were kind of last spotted down towards the south end of his firing range there, they end up being kind of over there, so pushing forward too aggressively here could have definitely caused some problems with crossfires and so forth. And there's no real need to rush here. The entire enemy team is essentially clumped up in their base. People that watch my content a lot are familiar with my recommendation to not do that. I call it the black hole strategy, where everything is just kind of condensed into a singular point in time and space, and it's very hard to defend. You're going to have shots coming from all angles. You can't angle against 3 or 4 different firing lanes, and if your entire team is grouped up into one very condensed spot, then the enemy can just create multiple firing angles, hit crossfires into you all day long, and you'll be quickly eliminated. So there's no real need to be really aggressive here. His team on the west is pushing forward kind of aggressively, and as long as he's in position here to continually be firing, you know, and kind of holding down this flank as well, this is just a fine play. Now you'll notice in this sequence he had one fire burning, opted to not put that out. Then the York hit it with another HE salvo. Second fire started. Then he hit the damage con, put those fires out. That's the correct play. You want to, as a battleship, unless you're extremely low on health, you need to let that fire burn. Fires are considered light damage, so you can heal the vast majority of damage caused by fires. So as long as you only have one fire going, it's not going to be that big of a deal for your ship. Let it burn. You need to save the damage con, because what happens is you put that single fire out, then you get hit by that extra salvo. The next fire starts, potentially the second fire after that. Then you have permanent fires that you can't put out for a minute, minute and a half, whatever you got left on your damage con cool down. And that's when fires become catastrophic. So single fires for battleships, you're generally going to want to let them burn. Single fires for most ships, you're generally going to want to let them burn. The thing you do need to keep in mind about fires, though, is it does increase your detectability range. So if you're attempting to disengage and you're finding you're not dropping spot, putting out that fire is going to lower your detectability and help you escape that situation. So if that's the case, then you might want to consider putting that fire out early. Now here he's holding that shot for the Scharnhorst, seeing if he's going to turn, and that's a good play. You don't always want to fire immediately on reload. If you see a ship beginning to turn like that, just hang on to it for a little bit, see if they're going to keep turning, and then take that shot. You're going to do a lot more damage hitting the side of the ship, which is more lightly armored and it's not angled properly, as opposed to like a steeply angled ship that's coming at you or sailing away. So good job there. Scharnhorst does complete his turn now. Spartan moves forward to make sure he clears that island that he's using for cover there, takes a shot and does significant amount of damage. So Scharnhorst in general, it's got a really good turtleback armor. You're not going to get a citadel on that ship very often. And you can see he's aiming up just a little bit on it, trying to hit more of the center mass of the ship. You're going to hit more shells that way, and you're going to do the same amount of damage essentially as shooting a waterline shot. So good job aiming there. And one more salvo should finish that Scharnhorst right off. Now throughout this match, Spartan does a really good job of angling his armor. And you can see he's relatively high health, this late through the match. A lot of that's been, blocking damage, like right there. I don't know if that was the York or the Iowa behind him that shot, but steeply angled like that, you're going to be bouncing a lot of damage. It's not going to be doing much here. Here the York is kind of pushing out now. This is a play. We've been talking a lot about cruisers on my channel lately, trying to help people with the survivability aspect of the cruisers. And cruisers kind of getting within dueling distance of battleships and then just kind of parking it there is a recipe for disaster. You can see the York is essentially doing no damage to the ship, and in return, well, let's just see if Spartan can do any damage to him or not. And he's actually backing up and presenting broadside now. So this is, just, a laundry list of things not to do. Shots away. York's hit. He gone! That's... You don't have to be a high-level fortune teller to predict these kind of things. Cruisers, you just cannot be... You should never be sailing towards a battleship when you're close range like that, especially if you're the most likely target for the battleship to be shooting at. It's never going to end well. You need to be sailing away, kiting away from the ship, and dodging, or you need to be using the island cover and firing from an undetected position. But sailing towards a battleship trying to, I don't know if he's trying to torp or what, but it's never going to work out well for you. So if you're having trouble in cruisers and you're getting deleted with battleships, when you die, evaluate the situation. Like that guy, instead of just being pissed off and loading up the next game, he needs to sit there for 10 seconds and say to himself, what happened? And then evaluate, okay, I rushed a battleship and I got smoked for it. How can I improve that in the future? Now here, we're getting into an interesting situation. We have two battleships that are kind of in front of him, which he's doing a good job angling of. That Iowa that was sneaking around this island, it was assumed that the Iowa would keep pushing to the right direction of the screen here. That actually stops and begins reversing, and he's got access to Spartan's broadside. Now this is a major problem. Spartan knows it. He's stopping. He's going to try and reverse out of this. What you want to do is continue to use that island that's potentially blocking him, but by backing up, you're going to increase the elevation that the guy has to shoot over. Essentially, you're going to get back into cover. And so even though the island's not near you, you can use any island on the map as cover. You just got to be able to recognize the ability to use it and then utilize it properly. And now as he backs up, it looks like he's turning the rear of a ship to the left, i.e. angling more towards this Iowa. That's a good play there. This is a very interesting situation, and why we ended up selecting this replay to evaluate, because you always have to figure out, what do I need to angle against. Here you have an Iowa that's relatively close range that has access to your broadside. Obviously an existential threat to any ship. But you also have two battleships that are essentially in front of you, and you don't want to present broadside towards them, because two battleships shooting you from the broadside, even if they're longer ranges, even if one of them's a relatively inaccurate Gneisenau, that's still going to end badly. So he's doing a good job of kind of angling a little bit more towards that Iowa to his right, and now that he's continued to reverse, that Iowa no longer has shots, and now he can strictly focus on angling towards these guys. So very good job recognizing the overreach, that the overstretched position that he put himself into, quickly took action to ameliorate the dangers that were associated with that position, and then by backing up here, he's now able to, essentially protect himself fully again. So very good job with that play there. Now just taking a moment to evaluate this game, it's essentially tied in the score. This Spartans team is up a little bit because they have a cruiser left compared to a destroyer. Cruisers are weighted more heavily in terms of points, but it's very easy to win or lose this game for either team at this point, so you do have to be careful. Now the destroyer hasn't been sighted for a while, and if I was that cruiser on their team, I would just go back to the base and park it there. It's a little bit of a gamble. You do want to support your battleships if possible, but if you die as the cruiser, i.e. the most vulnerable target for these battleships, you're going to be down in points. If that destroyer gets on the friendly blue base and starts accruing points by sitting on there, you get points every 5 seconds if you're on the enemy base, so that will add up, and that could potentially lead to a loss too, given how much time is left. So for when you're in these late game situations and you're trying to figure out how to win, you don't always have to go after the ships that are just sighted. You need to recognize, what do we need to do to win here, and protecting the points is definitely essential for these very close games like that. Now killing that battleship there, that goes a long way. That gives them a little bit of a buffer in terms of anything going awry. Now the Gneisenau is not going down without a fight, but at this point he's going to get focused and quickly deleted, I believe. So all in all, this was a pretty well played game there. We do get the Confederate high caliber and devastating strike on that cruiser to boot. So good job there. Again, if you haven't checked out Spartan's channel, visit the link in the description. He will also have his review of my game on his channel soon, so be sure to tune in over there and check that out. It should be a pretty good game as well. That's in a Megami Tier 7 Japanese cruiser, obviously, so hope you guys enjoy that one. After this Gneisenau dies, the clock kind of runs out. They're just kind of searching for the destroyer, so we'll trim it there. If you did like the video, please hit the thumbs up. New to the channel, you should consider subscribing. A lot of World of Warships coming all the time. Questions for me, comments, leave them below. I do love to hear from you guys, and we'll see y'all later. Alright, peace.